is that, where is it? I'll find the exact quote. It says, Sitra Achra is the inverse of holiness. If you love one, you hate the other. So I said, the more love there is for holiness, the more hatred there is for the Sitra Achra. You love, and we see this is on page 3, the top of the page. We see this from how King David wrote about those who hate God, and spoke about those who hate God. He said, I hate them with absolute hatred. They have become my enemies. So he provides the evidence.
Page 3.
Top of page 3. Probe within me and know my heart. There's nothing in his heart but love for God. So since there's nothing in his heart but love for God, so his absolute hatred towards God's enemies emerge entirely out of the purity of that love. So since they're opposites, just as the complete tzaddik's love for God is a tremendous love, so his hatred for the Sitra Achra is tremendous absolute hatred. So see, a commensurate to the love is the hatred. Yeah.
So I'm a little confused because
that's good. That means you're following.
So the incomplete tzaddik has bad in him, right?
Yeah, incomplete. Yeah.
But isn't that a good thing? Because like King David, the hatred is a bad thing. So it, like how is it? A complete tzaddik has no bad, right? So there's no duality. So like an angel, right? Like looks down upon us and they're envious because we have this struggle between good and bad. Where King David, like you said a long time ago, if you're good and you're just a good person, that's nice. But if you were Lakish, Rabbi Lakish, and he was bad, and then he used the badness to become good, that's a greater good.
So what the complete tzaddik has done is he's taken, this was before, you missed it. You were off in who knows where. So
as in Sodom and Gomorrah.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
I thought you were up with the Kurds there, arming them or something like that.
I'm not.
Okay, so what we learned was that the complete tzaddik does is he takes that passion drive of the beast inside him and he flips it over. So now he has two Yetzer Tovs. The Yetzer Hara begins with Yetzer Tov. And we spoke about how the passion of the beast is far more powerful than the Yetzer Tov. So this second Yetzer Tov that he has is a super engine Tov. So he's redirecting that, which is your Reish Lakish example. But in true, he's already fought the battle and he's won. So he doesn't have that quality of look at the battle that he's fighting. He's a different thing. He's a tzaddik. We're going to get later to the Beinoni is the person who's constantly fighting the struggle. But the tzaddik is the one who's basically won that battle. But there are different stages of how much, when you won, how much control do you have? The incomplete tzaddik, he's won the battle, he's suppressed and completely subdued that Yetzer Hara, but he hasn't converted it over. And the complete tzaddik is one who's converted it over. So that's why the incomplete tzaddik is called tzaddik v'ra lo. He has the bad in him, but it's subdued. It's totally ineffective. It's like it's not there, but he hasn't really completely eliminated. Whereas the complete tzaddik has so much just eliminated it that he was able to flip it over.
Can you think when we learned about things where you could extract godliness out of something, that's kosher or non-kosher, like the pig, you can't take the godliness out of it, they've extracted the godliness out of it.
So in each thing is a divine spark, right? So also within this animal there's a divine spark, but that divine spark is coated with layers of mud. So you remove those layers, and when you've got everything completely gone, then you can flip it over. The incomplete tzaddik has removed, but not completely. The amount that is left is so insignificant, it doesn't have no effect on him whatsoever. There's no problem fighting with it. But it's still there. So he can't flip that thing over. The complete tzaddik has so much eliminated it that he is able to flip it over. So he says, how did he eliminate it? How did he do that? So he said, well, what he did to completely eliminate it, he has to feel utter revulsion for it. How do you feel utter revulsion for something? You have to have utter hatred for it. Hatred leads to revulsion. How do you have utter hatred for it? Well, you have to have absolute love for the opposite. I'll give you an example. You're writing a movie, and you have a hero, and you have a villain. You want at the beginning of the movie that people, the audience, should really, really hate this villain. He should be so bad to it. You want them to really, really hate the villain. What can you do at the beginning of your movie to get your audience to really hate this villain? There's a technique.
He takes something pure and does something bad to it.
You have a character at the beginning of the movie who is so nice and so good and so happy and does good things and tells funny jokes and everybody loves this person. And then you have this villain come and savagely murder this person. And everybody will hate them. First you make them fall in love with somebody, and then you show this is the antithesis of that, and then they will hate that person. You don't have to, he doesn't have to have fangs, he doesn't have to have a mean face or anything. You have to get them to love something, and then they will hate its opposite. So this is what we're talking about with this tzaddik. He is so much in love with God, with the divine, with that and so on, that he hates the opposite, absolute hatred.
So you're saying that incomplete tzaddik doesn't completely love God?
So I'll tell you that that's a good question. If you ask him, he says, of course, I only love God. I know the difference between complete love and incomplete love is not really a matter of degrees. We'll ask, why do you love God? So I thirst for his closeness. I thirst for his presence. I want to be with him. I have to get away, out of all these worldly pleasures because this is the ultimate pleasure. I need closeness to him. That's the incomplete tzaddik. You know why that love is incomplete? Who does he love? He loves himself. And this is good for him. He loves God because it's wonderful. He wants that closeness. He has a thirst. He needs that thirst to be quenched. The complete tzaddik, why do you love God? I'm his child. I feel one with him. Is there something that you want from him? No. Whatever he wants, that's what I want. That's what we talked about the difference between fiery love and we call it the blissful love. The difference. The fiery love is thirsty. It wants to burn. Needs more to burn. It wants. It's never satisfied. Never satisfied. Blissful love means it's satisfied. I'm there. It's like the difference between, how did it say, distance makes the heart grow faster. Distance makes the love grow fonder, because when you're close together, you don't feel a need for each other. So you take the two apart. I remember a couple that were always fighting with each other. So finally, they got separate apartments, and then they had a fantastic marriage. so distance. So, but when they're close together, like you see, when do you want to see how much the child loves the parents? Right? In the house, the kid, go to bed. I don't want to go to bed. Do this. I don't want to do that. And then you take the kid, you drop them off, the kid off at preschool, and you walk towards the door. No, mommy. Okay. But as long as the kid's next to the mother or next to the father, you don't see the love. You go apart, and then all of a sudden you see this love. So the first type of love, the fiery love of the incomplete tzaddik, the love is somewhat self-centered. I want something. I need this. I need to be close to him. It's not self-centered, not greedy, but it's self-centered in the sense I want. And it says, Kirvat Elohim li tov. Closeness to God is good for me. Ta'amul ki tov Hashem. Taste, and you'll see that God is good. That's he wants something. Whereas the complete tzaddik doesn't want anything. Says an example. The king had many servants, and some are very close to him. Each one comes with a request, what they need, and one comes in. The king says, "What is your request?" And he says, "It's nothing that I need, but I just want to report to the king that you have a certain province which is in a big mess, and we have to get it, put it back together again, and put everything back together, working again over there." And that's a mashal for Moshe Rabbeinu. He didn't ask anything for himself. Whatever he asked for, well, what did the Jewish people need? Jewish people need this. Jewish people need that. That's all he requested. Never requested anything for himself. So why was he asking for what the Jewish people need? Because they're your people. So I'm concerned for you. And we tells God, you have to forgive the Jewish people for your sake. You have to forgive the Jewish people. So it's not about him. It's about that's a difference. So the difference between incomplete love and complete love is totally altruistic. It's nothing to do. Thank you. Nothing to do with what I want. It's just closeness. I'm there already. I don't need closeness. I am close. That's complete love. What's stunning over here is that complete love engenders absolute hatred. How could it be? So, are you allowed, if you see that somebody does bad things, are you allowed to hate that person?
Yeah.
No. I think so. He's the opposite of godliness.
I'm not sure allowed.
Yeah, I agree.
That's not really hate. That's something like, can you say I hate Tucker Carlson? Beneath me. I hate Ahmadinejad or somebody like, it's beneath me.
What about a self-hating Jew?
So he hates himself. I can't join in the fun.
Whatever the definition is. Like he goes out against Jews.
So I tell you,
some.
There was a
was
Lazer Kaganovich. Lazer Kaganovich was a Jew in the time of the revolution. He joined the Bolshevik Party and eventually became Stalin's right-hand man. He was the man responsible for the famine in Ukraine. We don't know, anywhere between 6 million to maybe 20 million people died. He was the man who was behind the doctor's plot. It could have resulted in the massacre of millions of Jews had it not been that Stalin died. His wife, when his wife knew what he was doing, and she said to him, "Even against your own people, you can do such a thing." And he told her, you should know. He got angry at her and told her Stalin is his God. That's what he said. Whatever he says. So in the 1980s, early 1980s, somebody came back from a visit to Russia and told the Lubavitcher Rebbe, Lazer Kaganovich lives. The Rebbe says, has he done tshuva? From the looks of his penthouse apartment, don't think so. He's still a member of the Bolshevik Party, and he's living in luxury. And the Rebbe thought about it, says, somebody has to bring him to do tshuva. such a person. I read that. It's in Delushkin's book. I read it. Conceivable, such a person. Let's just talk about a self-hating Jew. You're talking about one of the most greatest evildoers of the 20th century. Unbelievable.
So can you hate him?
Yes.
Even if you're not excited? Where does that put you? If you're
I'll
not
tell you,
excited or happy, but you still hate him?
Yeah.
Because he's killing your people.
Okay.
I guess you should just hate with no reason, just like.
I'll tell you, you're allowed to hate. You're allowed to hate, and on one condition. Well, maybe there are other conditions, but the main condition, as long as you also love the person.
As long as what?
You also love the person. But you can't hate somebody you don't love.
Really?
But can you be repulsed by them?
Okay, maybe you can repulsed by them too, but.
I heard a quote self-hating Jew on an interview. A friend of mine in Canada has a program and interviews people. And he interviewed, and I swear I hated him.
Tell me that's okay, as long as you love.
But I don't love him.
Whatever, Norman Chomsky or Norman Chomsky or what's his name?
I'm not excited.
The professor, what's his name? A couple of them. Really, what the Alter Rebbe says, it's chapter 32. It's a long way from where we are now. But he says, a Jew who is not close to you, is not your friend, you're not allowed to hate. You just have to love. But somebody who's close to you, is your friend, someone you can have influence, then you have to hate the person. The only one you can really hate is somebody who's a close friend of yours. You have to love them at the same time, okay? And what you hate the bad within the person. But at his core, there's good, and that I love very much. And also there may be other things about this person that I love. But there's something about this person I hate. Okay? So what am I going to do about it? How can I get this person to abandon this bad that's in him? Most of the time it's by loving them some more.
So would you
or even greater, you identify with the person, and then you identify, empathize. And then that will often resolve the issue.
Okay, so that's hate, but could you just be repulsed by the person?
By things that they do. Sometimes you see a guy, like, the way they eat is so disgusting, It's got this hamburger, this relish, mustard is falling out, it's all over the mustache. It's so disgusting, repulsive. And now they're like they're walking through the downtown while they're it's repulsive, utterly repulsive. So what are you going to do about this guy? They're repulsive. Wait, you eat your hamburger, Okay, but it doesn't mean I have to. It doesn't mean I can't love the person too. So I'm repulsed by him. I don't have to live with him. Okay?
What about
I'm not going to live with such a person, but I can have rachmanis on this person. Somebody should teach him how to eat a sandwich.
What about someone like Khomeini?
It's not worth hatred.
It's what?
It's not worth my hatred. What's the enmity? Maybe we're happy that he died. Okay, I read the account. I don't know when it happened, maybe a decade or more ago. The ambassador from Spain was introduced as his audience with Khomeini in Akhshima. So he comes in the palace, it's a huge palace. There's a place for them to sit and big hall. There's nobody there except for him and the guards. Khomeini's not sitting in his chair. Where is he? He's over at the side at the coffee urn, putting the sugar in the coffee and stirring the coffee for himself, and that's it. So the ambassador says, walk over and start up a conversation with him. Walks over to him, tries to start a conversation. Khomeini just ignores him completely. He's making his coffee. So he asks, what's the most important thing in your administration of Iran, not a word for it. So he asks him, he wants to get to, maybe he didn't understand his question, get to the point. Says, Your Excellency, when you awake in the morning, what's the first thing on your mind? Khomeini looks at him, says, the elimination of Israel. I read that, and now I know who Haman was. I understand who Haman is. Except Haman had reason. Mordechai didn't bow down to him. This guy's 2,000-3,000 miles away. What's Israel got to do with nothing to do with it? No. Hatred. It's the first. He's obsessed to the point that's the first thing he wakes up in the morning. I should waste my time hating. I'm happy he's eliminated.
So his whole life is based on hatred.
Yeah, that's it.
That's interesting. Like we do
doesn't have like an evil face with a nasty. People could look and say, "Oh, the fatherly figure. He looks very spiritual. Looks what? Actually, was a very educated man. His father was also a very educated man, clever, intelligent. Yeah, evil. That's not worth the time. But what there is a fellow Jew should do things like be so occupied with, as a Jew, as a Jew. Okay, so you're revolted by it, you hate it. It's okay as long as you love this person.
What about if someone was your friend and then they did something to
that
you
especially
really hurt you?
Yeah, because if you really love, if you really love this person, you'll hate them even more.
Okay. And what about where it says here hating the enemies of God and hating the Sitra Achra?
Yeah, good. Here he says, I hate them with an absolute hatred.
Right. So.
That absolute means there's no love for them at all.
Right.
Okay, so that's King David. He's a complete tzaddik, at least by this point.
Mm-hmm.
And so for him, that's a sincere hatred. It really comes only purely out of his love for God. But if I would feel such a hatred to another person, I can guarantee you it's not coming out of a pure love for God. Whenever you see people fighting about, the fight about the height of the mechitza, or the fight about, so then they're not doing this according to halacha, or there's such a chilush and screaming at each other, it's not coming out of love for God if they're fighting with each other. If it's somebody who is a complete tzaddik, Eliyahu Hanavi, Moshe Rabbeinu, somebody like that, and this is absolute righteous indignation. How could you do such a thing? Okay, that's sincere. But for us little people, it's playing with dynamite.
Can you have a tzaddik moment, like be a tzaddik for like 10 seconds or a minute?
Yeah, but you definitely would not know about it.
What do you mean?
If you feel I'm being a tzaddik right now, for sure, that's not that moment. If you would have a tzaddik moment, I'm sure what you would feel is very, very embarrassed about everything else of the rest of your life. Not that I have the right opinion and everybody is wrong, then for sure.
But like, you know what I mean? Like we can't be bad forever, because I think according to this,
some people have managed that, yeah. Some people have managed to. People have like a moment of regret in their life, that sort of thing.
Like if you did a really good thing, like, can you say like I was a tzaddik for 10 seconds?
Yeah, but after the fact, as soon as you recognized it, you're out of there.
But like, for example, I'll give you a real example. Like I used, to eat kaza, and then I had like this thing, and then I hate pork. Like I hate the concept of a pig, that it's a tricky animal, that it chews its cud. It doesn't chew its cud, so it tricks you. And I'm revolted by the fact of a pig, and that the Greeks put pig's blood, and I hate the pig. Like I'm revolted by the idea of the pig. I don't know how to explain it to you. I just hate the pig,
I feel bad for the pig.
It just symbolizes evil to me. I don't want to see a pig. I don't want to touch a pig. I don't like pig.
I don't want like wouldn't want to eat
I don't allow
Why?
my dog to
Because
have
I
pig
love
juice.
God, and God says He doesn't like Jews eating pigs. I can't do that. Whatchamacallit, when we first married, my wife put on a dark green dress. I looked at her. You've heard this Mirab from her. Right? You've told us her. I looked at her and I said, I don't think you look good.
Probably
She
not.
went and got rid of every green dress she ever had and put another green dress. I think I told her this last week. My father, I'm sitting with my father. Dad really like a beer. I don't drink beer. You don't like beer? And I don't drink beer. Dad, you don't want a beer? He says, I married your mother. I found out she's allergic to alcohol. Since then, I don't touch beer. Dad, Mom's dead 2.5 years. Yeah, but your mother, I don't drink beer. So that's it. There's hatred and revulsion that comes out of love. That's the only true hatred and revulsion. And if you're at tzaddik, it's real. If you're not at tzaddik, then stay far from those things. Stay far from that. It's too dangerous to play with. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam kol yom v'yom.
What pleasures can you have if you're not inside?
Pleasures?
Yeah.
You have many pleasures. We learned in chapter 7, you can drink mulled wine and eat fatty meat. And you can tell funny jokes as long as you do it l'shem shamayim, for a higher divine purpose.
Well,
and everything in life, as long as it's kosher, can have a divine purpose. Lashon hara can't have a divine purpose. Pigs, eating pigs at least, cannot have a divine purpose. Maybe you can make a pigskin football out of it. But everything that's kosher, if it's permissible, you can find a divine purpose, and that is true joy and true life.
Okay, but if you do a simple pleasure and you don't think of it as a divine purpose, is that your animal soul?
How could a Jew do so? Of course, everything a Jew does has divine purpose. You know, you're eating healthy food, right? You're eating food is healthy. Why are you eating healthy food? Because you want to be healthy. Why do you want to be healthy? Because I want to live as a Jew and do mitzvahs, keep Shabbos. So of course,
you have to be aware of that.
You should be aware of it. Every moment in life should be meaningful, purposeful, mindful. There shouldn't be anything that just happens. Okay. Just happens is sitra achra.
Okay.
That's the definition of klippa. Stuff that just is or just happens. It just sort of happened, you know.
Yeah, that's a hard question.
Yeah, you want easy? You want easy? Sunday, turn on the TV, watch football, drink beer. That's very
watch
easy.
What?
Watch football, drink beer. It's very easy.
No, that's not. That's not one of my pleasures.
Okay, whatever, you know. I didn't find anything good in life that comes easy. Nothing. You know, if you find something, let me know. I haven't found yet a single easy thing. Every easy thing always turned out to be a big mess. Okay. Imagine giving a person an easy job to do, and I'll pay you $500,000 a year to do this very easy job and do nothing. That's a perfect recipe for destroying somebody's life. Okay, now we get back now. We said that since he has absolute hatred, he has absolute revulsion for sitra achra. Since he has revulsion, so therefore there's nothing left of the bad within him, because you can't live with something that you're repulsed by. So the bad is all gone because he's repulsed by it. Now he can take that engine that produced all that bad, and he can flip it over in his 2 Yetzer Tovs. That's the complete tzaddik. That's why he's called a tzaddik with tov lo. He's only has good in him because he's flipped the bad over to good, and he's a complete tzaddik because it comes out of his complete love. So that's what you know so far about him. The incomplete tzaddik. Now let's go back, bottom of page 3. Let's go back and look at the incomplete tzaddik. He does not hate the sitra achra with absolute hatred. That being so, he is not utterly repulsed by bad pleasures. And whenever the hatred and repulsion is not absolute, it must be in some way that there remains some minimal vestige of love and pleasure to bliss. This is some sort of trace that there. Now, hold on. He's a tzaddik, right? Does a tzaddik have a yetzer hara?
Yeah.
You say yes.
Yes.
Yes. But you,
Oh,
Barry,
no,
what do you
no.
say? Does tzaddik have a
Tzaddik has
yetzer hara?
eliminated the yetzer hara.
We learned in chapter 1 that tzaddik has no yetzer hara.
Well, they quieted it.
It says, like, he killed it.
Well, he made it a yetzer tov.
Libi halal b'kirbi, my heart is empty within me. Ein lo yetzer hara.
Well, he made it a yetzer tov. It wasn't.
No, that's a complete tzaddik. But every tzaddik, every tzaddik is a person. He has no urge to do bad. Not that he doesn't do bad. He has no urge to do bad. That's a tzaddik.
The incomplete one still has it. It's just he's quiet.
So this is the question. In what way is it there? He has no urge to do anything bad. In what way is there bad in him? So we said, well, he's not completely. It must be that there's still some bad in him, because if there wouldn't be bad in him, he would have turned over the bad to good, and he didn't. But in what way is it there? So now we have an answer in what way it's there. It's there in the sense that he's not utterly repulsed by evil. His bad is that he's not utterly repulsed by bad. That's his bad. You know, it's like there's a particle called a neutron. It has no mass. So you ask a physicist, if it has no mass, in what way is it there? So, well, he says, we know there's an electron, we know there's a proton, there's others, these things. So we figure there's got to be a neutron in there, otherwise the math doesn't work.
Mm-hmm.
But in what way is it there? It's there because everything else is there doing their thing, so it must be there. You know? Like they discovered Uranus. How they discovered it? Didn't discover Uranus by looking at a telescope and seeing Uranus. So like, things are not moving properly. Something's wrong with Saturn out there. It's not right. Something's going on. There must be another mass around there. Well, let's do the calculations. It must be over here. Look. Hey, we found it. Okay. But with a neutron, you didn't even find it. It's the same thing with this tzaddik. We say he's still bad in. What is that bad? It's not bad that's making him do anything. So in what way is it there? Its only way of being there is that he's not utterly repulsed by bad. That's his bad, by not being utterly repulsed by it. So it's like saying -1. Is -1 a number or not a number? How much? It's less than 0. It must be something. Why? Because -1 times -1 is 1. And 1 is a number. So -1 must be a number also. Wait, does 1 times 1 equal -1? No, but -1 times -1. I never figured that one out. That's what. So it's there. The bad is in him only in the negative sense. That he's not utterly repulsed by bad. That's his bad.
Well, does it have something to do that they're self-centered?
Always self-centered. We said self-centered in the sense that he has thirst for the divine. He has thirst to leave his body and this world. He just wants to be with God. That's his incomplete love. So the point is, it's not bad in the sense of an effective bad that's making anything happen. It's bad in the sense like we're taking points off of your score because you just don't hate bad enough. There's a little bit more bad that you could hate bad.
Well,
so that doesn't make him bad.
Well, before you said like the complete tzaddik is like the child, and this tzaddik is like, I want to be close to God because it makes me feel good.
Yeah, so maybe I'm being too coarse, painting it too fat. He doesn't want it because I'm going to be greater. I'm going to be more famous. People will like me better. I'm going to get an Oscar. And he's thirsty for closeness to God and he'll give up everything. He'll give up everything for that. He doesn't want fame. He doesn't want power. He doesn't want money. He doesn't want any pleasures of this world. He just wants closeness to God. So he's a tzaddik. But his only fault is he doesn't have absolute revulsion for the bad. That's a negative thing. So this tzaddik's filthy garments that embody his core animalistic drive have not been removed totally and absolutely, and that explains why that animalistic drive has not been genuinely switched over to good. He's still holding on to, some way holding on to these the bad. So like you have, for example, on Pesach. Pesach's coming up in less than a month now. So we're talking about Pesach. And a person has chametz, has to get rid of it. So he puts it out there on the street or wherever. It's, I have nothing to do with it anymore. It's not mine anymore. But he's thinking in the back of his mind, if nobody takes, he puts his bottles of liquor, his beer out there on the street. If nobody takes it by after Pesach, I'll take it back. Or he comes out every day and watches to see, I hope nobody takes it. He's still holding on to it.
Yiddish cup.
So yeah, but that means he didn't let go of it, which means it still is his.
Yeah.
He didn't let go of it. You could have an instance where he says, well, I'll keep it by somebody who's not Jewish, and I'll tell them that it's yours, and so on. It's 100% yours. But if you still happen to have it after Pesach, I'll take it back. Sorry, you're still holding on.
But that's what people actually do.
No, we don't do. That's why we say, we hand a document to the rabbi to say, it's up to you to get rid of my comments. Because we don't trust ourselves to do it. We say, no, I'm giving you the power of attorney for you to do it.
But he's not really getting rid of it.
He's not getting rid of it. He's selling it, so it's not yours. If I would sell it, might still be mine, because I might not really mean it. But he really means it. He doesn't care about my comment, so he really means it. So he's getting rid of it.
But he sells it back to you.
What he does is he sells it to the non-Jew for, say, $100,000. And you need to put $1 down now, and the rest of the money you'll pay after Pesach. If you don't pay it, then we take it all back. But now it's yours, okay? That's how it's done.
But
all the Torah says
has ever come to your house and taken your chametz while it's Pesach.
Well, then he'll have to pay the rest of the money. He doesn't want to do that.
That's very tricky.
But look, God said you can't own any chametz. We said to him, what does own mean? Well, own means owning. Okay, we don't own the chametz. According to your rules, we don't own the chametz.
Wait, so it's still in the house?
It's not a loophole. He said don't own the chametz.
That's a loophole.
It's still
That's a
What is it?
Online and sell.
And if I would own the chametz, what's the big sin? Why is it a sin to own chametz?
Because
he said it's a sin to own chametz. Okay, what do you say owning is? This is owning. Okay, we're not owning.
Having it in the
same
street
thing.
sounds better.
Well, I do it every year. So.
Yeah, make sure you sell your chametz before Pesach. That's you don't own it.
It's God.
Tell me something.
Yeah.
Let's say I hand you this cup. Okay, I say take this cup. It's yours, and you take it from me, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, what happened? Does the cup now belong to you?
I assume so, yeah.
How do I know?
We had a verbal agreement.
So it's all a fiction. The whole thing is a fiction. All transactions the human beings make are fictions. So the term legal fiction is a how do you call it? An oxymoron. Because all legal things are fictions. We make up all these rules. So no such thing as a legal fiction. Because all legals are fictions. So Torah says, don't own it. Torah says, this is what owning means. So just following the rules. Okay. But my point was that it's still, as long as, like with this cup, as long as I got this string, I haven't let go of it altogether. The string this incomplete tzaddik has is his lack of utter revulsion for it. Because the only way to dispense of bad is by having utter revulsion. He doesn't have utter revulsion, so he has a tiny little string still holding onto this thing. But
I thought we weren't supposed to hate. Like, to be a tzaddik, you have to hate.
Yeah, I said we don't, because we're not tzaddik.
Oh.
But tzaddik, we should try to have some revulsion for evil and so on. You can't ever trust yourself. We're talking about the tzaddik. Tzaddik has real, true revulsion, and that's how he gets rid of all the bad. He gets rid of the bad by revulsion. How does he have the revulsion? By having love. The more love he has, the more revulsion he has, the more he gets rid of that bad. But as long as it's not absolute revulsion, he can't totally get rid of it, so he can't flip it over. It's still within that shell. It's not allowing it to be flipped over. So he has to have more love. But that big step of the absolute love, that's the blissful love, that's only the complete tzaddik. We'll learn the complete tzaddik, there could be as few as 2 per generation. Can't be less than 2, but there could be only 2 in a generation. The incomplete tzaddik, there could be many in a generation.
What's the max we could be? Like a Benjamin?
You try to be a tzaddik, but later you'll find that if you work very hard at it, you could get the neshama of a tzaddik enter into you. But the measure of a person, what's expected from a person, is to be a Benjamin, fighting the war. Okay, but we're talking now about the tzaddik. The tzaddik won that battle, but he still has bad in him, but the bad in him is not effective bad. It's totally negligible. It's negligible, and it only exists in the sense that he doesn't have absolute revulsion for bad. That's his bad about it. What's bad about him? He doesn't have absolute revulsion. It's so minimalist. You can't get more minimalist than that. And you could have degrees. Okay, we'll get to that next week. You could have degrees of how much revulsion, less revulsion, and so on. There could be in this study. Well, let's conclude over here. So we now see that these 2 titles are connected. The tzaddik in its bad form is an incomplete tzaddik, incomplete in his love for God, therefore still attached in some way to the bad, rendering him incapable of rechanneling the passions of a user beast. Okay, the tzaddik in its good form, on the other hand, is a complete tzaddik, has absolute love for God, and therefore 0 tolerance for bad. So those passions with animalistic soul which were previously invested in bad, are now rechanneled to good. Now we have the 2 defined. Everything depends on the degree of love experienced by the tzaddik. So basically the definition of tzaddik is really love. That's what makes a tzaddik. And how does the tzaddik come to love of God? Because he thinks about him all the time. So it comes out that it's really his dad, right? I'm talking about that in chapter 3. This thinking, how much is your mind obsessed with this? According to that obsession, that will be the degree of love. And according to the degree of love, that will be how minimalized the bad is and how great the tzaddik is. So all begins with what is your mind obsessed with?
So instead of trying to get rid of the bad, is it better to just try to be more good?
You try to keep your mind focused on the good things that bring to love.
Like not fixing the bad, focus on doing good things.
That's doing and thinking good things. Thinking thoughts that will inspire you to do good. So if you fall asleep at night watching people killing each other on Netflix, and you wake up in the morning with the news, your mind's not going to be in a good place, and you'll be obsessed with the bad. But if you fall asleep thinking, Meir La'aretz Kulo Chavodo, he said the last thing you say, the bracha hamapil before falling asleep. And you're thinking about, wow, what an amazing world I experienced today. Look at the amazing things that I saw that God created. It's so wonderful. Now my soul gets to go to report how amazing it was. And the first thing you do in the morning is is learn some Torah and daven and thank God for all the miracles, amazing miracles we get to experience in our time. Okay, then your mind is in such a place and you feel love, you're repulsed by that, and you're going to do the right thing that day. You'll do the right things because your mind is in the right space. That's what you have to be worried about, where your head is at. Is your head in a good space? Will do the right things. So keep it there. I was just talking about this problem. Nobody seems to notice, but the number of miracles that happened in the last 30 months is utterly astounding. Everybody now is predicting what's going to happen with this war, what's going to be, and this pundit says this will happen, this guy says this will happen. Nobody stops to think, 30 months ago, what were people predicting? Were there any predictions? Was anybody anywhere close to correct in any prediction? Would anybody have said, October 2023, that by March of end of February, March 2026, Sinwar would be dead. Nasrallah would be dead. Assad would be a sick man that in a hospital in Russia that the Russians somehow failed to poison to death. And Khomeini buried deep under the, and all of his people with him gone. And that all the Gulf states and Arab states all surrounding Iran are allied together with Israel and the American Air Force, and that the man at the helm of the American Department of Defense will be talking about the great privilege he has to fight with the greatest Air Force in the world. And he's not talking about the American Air Force. And I can imagine Saudi Arabia and Qatar and Israel fighting together against. If somebody would have predicted that, even 2 months, or even 1 month ago.
That's pretty incredible. That all those leaders dying. I mean, don't they just have replacements? It's like whack-a-mole, no? Like they just popping again.
Coming down, yeah.
No? Like, I mean, sorry.
Nobody could have predicted any of this. It's totally ridiculous. It's totally absolutely mad. And you know that the Israeli stock market right now is the strongest stock market in the world. Israeli currency is right now rising faster than American currency in the middle of a war. Right? They just got the biggest client in the world, the largest populated, the most populated country in the world, India. This is major defense contracts with Israel. Israel now will be supplying natural gas to Europe. Israel now provide. So nothing, absolutely, in America. More than Purim, you see that Am Yisrael Chai, it's an invincible, eternal nation. Just go back. October 2023, 100,000 missiles in Lebanon. It shakes still to think about it. I remember looking at it. How to get out of that? 100,000 missiles in Lebanon. A country full of tunnels in the south. The West Bank. And Assad over there in Syria. And who knows how close Iran is to a nuclear warhead. And then they got the Houthis down there. It's impossible, this ring of terror all around the country. And then as soon as attacked, you got every professor, the top universities condemning Israel for getting attacked. And the Israelis said, well, they knew if Lebanon had attacked with all their missiles, Hezbollah had attacked with all their missiles at that point. Never mind the terrorists coming in with all their arms from the West Bank. What could they do? As much as they could hold them off with all the destruction they could accomplish, in the meantime, Iran has a free license to develop its nuclear weapon under the Democrats. It was a hopeless situation. And today, Nabucco, exactly the opposite. Wing to wing, shoulder to shoulder, the two strongest armies in the world knocking out Iran. So it's all absolutely miraculous. And any prediction, there's only one thing you can say about anybody's prediction today, is that it definitely will not happen. That's the only thing you can say, because nobody's been. It's all up to Hashem, and He only wants good things for His people. And look what He's done until now. Shows absolute love and caring for His people.
Amen.
Amen. See you next week, God
Sure,
willing.
call.
That's
Stay
right.
healthy.
Yes, you're cool.
Good night.